per child, right?
There's a calculation.
Roughly.
There's a calculation that is made that is directed really
Right,
from
the
the state,
proportionate
the
share.
proportionate share,
Right.
and it's a proportionate share, whatever, and that's calculated each
So
year.
that comes about roughly about 1,000, just so that I don't have to multiply
Well,
three
if we
digits.
have
that's
48
not the
students,
topic
yes.
today.
Right.
I thought that
mean-
was part of your budget.
But the calculation and,
Well,
those
can you
things.
point me to the page on this budget where it's included for private school students?
Right. If you look on the very bottom, you see the $48,439.
Yeah.
That's where it's included.
Okay, so that's not just ARRA money, because the column says ARRA, and then it says RS3313/3314-3319.
Those are just the codes. Those are the codes. Those are the SACS codes that are relating to the ERA money. So the only private school ERA funds are the $48,439. That is budgeted at the SELPA level.
Okay, thank you. And what about the non-ARRA private school funds, which should come out, if you have about 40 students, should come out to $40,000.
If you take a look, if you look under, see the same bottom section there where it says revenue, it says property taxes, state entitlement, and then it says federal local assistance. See that? You following me there?
No.
Okay. Under the 2010 revenue allocations, then it
Okay.
gives the district the federal local assistance.
Mm-hmm.
You go down to the bottom and there's $886.
Right.
That is allocated to the SELPA. That is the private school allocation for our federal money.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
there's federal money here, and this is our the private school portion of the ERA funds that are there.
Oh, okay. So you have 50, that was my question. So you have about 57 students identified then. So there's $57,886 that is all going to private school children?
Correct.
Or is that going to other?
No, the only federal money that is received and allocated for private schools goes to the SELPA, and that's the $57,886 that are federal money, and then it's the $48,000 that's ERA money.
Okay, so if you combine those two, it comes about to like $100,000.
Correct. Correct.
And going back to Andrea's question, that's to hire one consultant, $100,000?
That's what it's currently budgeted for, yes.
Okay.
And also there was a request for a training.
Okay, so it's a consultant and a training. Okay. Could I make a request that we get the consultant's contract as a matter of public record? And also a description, any and all documents that are related to the training?
At this time, we don't have any documents related to the training.
So when is the training going to be done?
I have some tentative dates that I've given the company, but I don't have any response back yet.
Oh, okay. And what's the name of the company that's doing the training?
I believe it's Cambia. It's Step Up to Writing.
Can you also put me on the mailing list for that, for the training? I
The
imagine
training's for private school staff.
I would imagine that it's open to the public if it's
No,
being
it's
used
not.
with federal. So the training is not open to the public,
Right.
to the private school parents or
Right.
representatives of
Right.
private school
And it
parents.
is only for the private schools in our area.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the budget plan? Okay. Okay, thank you.
The second part is our description of the services. These are set by the state, and we have adopted them as described in a state document. And you can see we go through this and look at three things. One, do we adopt this service as described? Do we modify the description of the service? and also which services are currently utilized and which are currently not utilized. And
Joan, may I ask a question? I'm sorry, Catalina, going back to the annual budget plan portion. I assume that some of these numbers would be specified, the codes, but they're not. Do you have a list of what the codes mean that I'm missing?
If you take...
Like the 3313, 3314, those codes.
Those are resource codes. No, there's nothing in this document that...
Okay, can we get a description of those codes? Because otherwise, I don't know what 3313 means.
that's available.
I can get that to you. It's available.
It's available on the web in the Saks County Code Manual.
Okay, it's called, what's the manual called?
Saks Account Coding Manual.
Thank you.
And you know, specifically, I'll just let you know what this is, and then if you're going to go ahead and look up that information, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But the resource 3313, that's basically our federal era money, specifically that's not preschool. Okay, the 3319 and the 3324 are era money that's preschool. So that's the difference in those codes. The 3314. The 3313 is our era local assistance, basically. The 3314 is our era local assistance private school. So I'm coding the private schools as 3314. Okay. If you take a look at the preschool, the preschool codes for the era money are 3319 and 3324.
So, you can look through each page. You can see the descriptions of the services. You can determine whether or not they currently are utilized. And that
Excuse me,
is,
I'm going back to the projected revenue limit budget page. Now,
Are
what
we
did you
going
say
back
about
to the
that?
budget plan?
Yes.
Are we going back to budget?
Well, the budget plan,
Right.
this page,
The second one.
yeah, this one. I didn't quite get what was explained on that.
This is the calculations that we were provided from county schools to project the revenue limit dollars. So on the prior page where it shows the just before the era money, it says SCC community school revenue limit. See where it says that? Okay. Those dollars are calculated based on the information from county schools. This is how we got to the information to estimate what our revenue limit dollars are going to be for each district.
So this is the reflection of the SDC, or whichever one you just said.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the reflection of that as to how the district money is being paid. Is that correct? Or
If you take a look at this is revenue limit dollars.
Right.
See, there's the bottom line is 16,222,000. And if you look at the next page over to the right, there's 16,222,000.
Okay.
That's how that.
so this
Those
is the
dollars are
broken down.
yes.
This is the broken
Yes.
down level of this
Yes.
column.
Yes.
Catalina, following up on that 16,222 column, the heading, it says PROJRLXADA. What
I'm sorry.
does that?
I'm sorry. I don't see where you are. On
on
which?
The second page, first table, last column, where it says
Okay,
projected
okay.
res limit, and
And
I'm assuming
EDA.
that PROJ means
It's
projected,
projected.
RL is revenue limit.
This was my worksheet to get to the numbers.
Okay,
So
sure. What does XADA mean? I mean, I'm
It's-
guessing it's average daily attendance.
yes,
What
it's
is
the
X?
revenue limit times. It's basically
times,
it's revenue limit
okay.
times the ADA.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, Catalina. And
And this is just mine.
again, if you could go through the headings, because I don't know what P-2 revenue limit means, or 18.355% plus 3.85% revenue limit deficit. If you could go through what the headings mean.
Okay, I can briefly go through those again. again, this was my worksheet to calculate the information. So
It's very helpful.
I'll
Yes,
go
very
through the 10-11 projection, P2. What happens is all of the districts, well, the WESELPA is provided funding at P2 and P1. It's kind of, what's it actually? It's kind of like interim. It's like your first interim. At P1 is in February, P2 is the end of June.
So what does P mean?
P is, gosh.
Period. Okay, period
Is it
one and
period?
period
Is it
two?
period 1 and
Okay.
2?
Okay.
It's like, it's just so, you'd think I would know that. Thank you, Sharon. And so this is the revenue limit that they're projecting that we're going to receive at the end of the year. This is the annual projection. The 18.355 and the 3.85, those are deficit factors because of the state funding. Instead of being funded the whole 6,000, so say for Alta Loma, their revenue limit projection is $6,065 per student, per 88. And there's a deficit factor, so based on the budgets, they are not getting all of that money. It's deficited, it's decreased by 18%. And then there was another deficit factor, which is a 3.85%. So
Okay.
there's a total deficit, so you add the two of them, you got a 22% deficit factor. So that's why if you took a look at the next column, it shows the adjusted revenue limit. So it says it's from the 6,000 and it's deficited, so they only getting 77% of that $6,000. So their adjusted revenue is $4,719 per 88.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
As far as the projections, how do you get those projections? When you say they project, who's they? Is it the individual districts that give you this data, or who comes up with the
I
projections?
received this projected data from county schools. The county schools work alongside with each of the districts, and they assist the districts in their projections for their revenue limit dollars, etc. This is all, it's all based on the government and the state budgeting, and it changes every day. So one day they're going to tell you it's one thing, the next day we're deficited differently. So it's an ongoing process. So the county schools assist the districts in identifying what they can anticipate their revenue limit will be. So
And that's the county superintendent of schools office.
Yes.
When you say county.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Catalina.
And then I used in this calculation, I used the 910 special ed P2ADA.
Special ed.
Okay, yes, that's special ed. And then so I multiplied that out to get what the revenue limit would be for that district. And then if I go over to the side, what did I do? Oh, this is more, what happens is there's a county revenue limit dollars for each district also. It can be very complicated, but see how Alta Loma has on the far left side, it started at 6,065. That's for their students in basically their STC classes, their special ed classes.
That's per ADA, that number.
Per 88, correct.
Okay.
And then if you go over to the right-hand side where it says Alta Loma and it says 4,763,
Right.
there's a different calculation.
719?
No, over here.
Oh, okay, you moved on to the next table. Okay.
Yes, so the 476304, that is the revenue limit that county uses for the district students that are in their program. So there's a different county gets a different revenue limit dollars than the district does.
Okay, now I get confused. Okay, with the adjusted revenue limit, the district gets basically $4,719. Now, where does that come from? Is that comes
4,000.
from over
Are you
here?
back over on
I'm
the
back
left?
over on the
Yeah.
left.
That is what that's what the districts will anticipate receiving per ADA for their special ed
For
students.
88, and then now this is from the county,
This
the
is
right.
on the
Okay.
right.
Sorry.
On the right. This is the adjusted revenue limit that is for students. Let's say, for instance, Alta Loma. In Alta Loma is going to receive the 4719, with the
Right,
number that's
from-
on the left,
that's
that's
the
the
88.
adjusted.